When the mission came down that we had something very real to do with these things and they had to be ready, people jumped on board. They were so happy to be part of it. Myself, I was happy to be part of it as well. 9+ days of 8 a.m. till midnight. You don't see your family, you don't eat supper with your parents, any of that. You just work on tanks, and I was so proud to be part of that and to had to represent my country and to push these vehicles to Eastern Europe where they're going to be used to train people that need them.
The Government of Canada recently announced their donation of Leopard 2A4 tanks to Ukraine in an effort to help liberate the country from Russian invasion. Today, we're joined by Major Jordan Lapointe, Officer Commanding C Squadron with the Royal Canadian Dragoons, and Corporal Nicholas Cobb, Leopard 2 loader and crew member at C Squadron. They're going to tell us more about the tanks as well as their preparation and movement prior to their delivery. Can you tell us a little bit about the capabilities and firepower that the tanks offer in the modern battlefield?
Certainly. So the main battle tank within the Canadian Army is, the purpose is to defeat the enemy using aggressive firepower and battlefield mobility. And so as such, there's really 3 categories that the Leopard 2 provides to the Canadian Army, which is not replicated elsewhere. And the first one being protection. So the Leopard 2 main battle tank provides protection not only to its crew members in order to ensure mission success and task completion, but also provides protection to some of the other combat arms and enablers that we work with on the modern battlefield. The other component to this is the firepower the Leopard 2 provides, which is not replicated elsewhere in the Canadian Army. So using the Leopard 2's main armament, the 120mm smoothbore cannon, Leopard 2 crews have the ability to acquire and engage enemy up to distances of 5 kilometers in a direct fire role, all depending on the variant of the tank and the components of the fire control system. In a semi-indirect fire role, we have the ability to acquire and suppress and neutralize enemy targets outwards of that 5 kilometers. And finally, the Leopard 2 main battle tank provides enhanced mobility, which cannot be replicated by other wheeled platforms in the Canadian Army, seeing as though the Leopard is a tracked vehicle.
And I understand that the tanks were transported from Gagetown, New Brunswick to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Why was that movement required and how was it accomplished?
As you can imagine, we can't just drive the tanks down to Nova Scotia. The tanks have to be shipped by flatbed, and they can only go overseas by plane or by boat. In order to ship these vehicles, we had to put them on a plane, where they were sent overseas to Eastern Europe, where they're currently being used to train Ukrainians.
And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, certainly. Well, it's never easy losing serviceable tanks from our fleet here in C Squadron RCD. There's a great deal of pride by both the members of C Squadron and within the Royal Canadian Armoured Corps community when it comes to maintaining our fleet of vehicles. And so there's a great deal of pride, and we're committed to the Government of Canada in terms of providing capabilities to Ukraine and the armed forces of Ukraine in terms of deterring future Russian aggression. And so both my Sergeant Major and I are incredibly proud of all the hard work that has gone in order to have them deployed to Eastern Europe, where we can train Ukrainians and get them into the hands of Ukrainians to be used on the battlefield.